up, y'all? I'm Steve with Elev8, and today we got a really cool Elev8 with glass by AJ. Man, his stuff is super fire, and I can't wait to get to talk to him. I want to throw it out there really quickly. If you're looking to help us out, we got this really cool program called Elev8 Dolls and Elev8 Gents. It's our brand ambassador program. You get to earn free clothing, earn credits for stuff in our store, and more importantly, you get to put a smile on other people's faces, and you get to help us build Elev8. We also got Elev8 Veterans. It's our 501c3 where we get to help war veterans reacclimate and rehabilitate into society. Anyways, let's get into this and get to know Glass by AJ. All right, so we got Elev8 today with AJ Roberts. Glass by AJ, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's quite a pleasure and privilege to be here, sir.
Well, likewise, I'm so honored. Most of you've been doing this a while, and so the first question I want to ask is, how did you get into the glass game? How did you get into this crazy adventure?
I was going to music school at the University of Florida, and one of my friends got a job in a head shop. And that seemed like about the coolest thing that you could do with your time, because I was working in a restaurant in the kitchen, just scrubbing dishes and all that kind of stuff at the time. And I was like,
done that.
Awesome. Hell yeah. And yeah, I was just like, this head shop job is the coolest thing in the world. You got to hook me up. And I persisted. And after about like 6 months, maybe I got a job at the head shop. And then I don't know, like I fell in love with everything about pipes. Like cannabis to me has always been kind of the solution to a lot of problems, personally and socially, I think I can see also. So playing a part in that, even just providing pipes for people, really felt like I was helping or changing or trying to do good, you know?
Yeah.
And then from there, another friend in the head shop went and got some glass blowing lessons up in Wisconsin, and came back and knew how to make spin feather spoons. And then all of a sudden my whole world changed. I was like, nothing else matters. This is all I want to see and do for forever. And I actually stopped playing music for probably about 15 years straight, just kind of put all my music instruments away and just kind of fell into glass. And it was like this whole universe that didn't give a shit about the universe that we're existing in. And to me, that was even more enthralling because I was pretty disillusioned with the world around me. So I was like, anything I could do to disconnect and still be productive was really the calling that kind of like took precedence over every other decision I made. It was like everything was about glass and staying in that universe and just kind of seeing what I could do with it.
Man, that's pretty wild. So it sounds like you already had this passion of music and everything built into you. You were going to school for it. I'm sure at that point in time, that's what you were going to do for the rest of your life was music. And then this glass shit just like fell into you, and it just did a spin in your life. And now you're back to music a little bit as well, or?
Well, after I've been blowing glass quite a while, so like 23, 24 years. So somewhere around like about 9 or 10 years ago, I started to pick up a music instrument here and there and just plank and have fun and kind of remember why that was so much fun. And I never dreamed that both of the worlds would come together, like with the drum sets.
Yeah.
I actually, the way that started was I hit my 20th year of glass blowing, and I've made kind of big rigs and kind of weird, maybe unique stuff kind of the whole time that I've been working. And when I hit the 20-year mark, I really was like, I want to do something kind of monumental once, at least for 20 years. It's like, let's do something really, really outside the box. And a drum set came to mind, and I started doing research on the drum sets to find out who am I biting, who's done this and whatnot. And in all my research, I couldn't find anyone that had attempted it, done it in any print anywhere, not even in the art world or anything. And that was another catalyst that was like, wait a minute, something fresh, something that no one can bitch at me about biting on them for.
And that's hard to do.
Well, exactly. I'd been blowing glass, like I was saying, for 20 years at this point, and I thought I was doing unique stuff, but really it was reversal builds and ideas that I'd taken and borrowed from different people and learned from different people, and kind of duct taped my own kind of style together out of it. And then I tried this drum set, and I spent a month on making a clear drum set, and I couldn't do it. Everything kept shattering. The bass drum would shatter. Like, everything just kept breaking and breaking. And it literally broke my brain. Like, glass blowing is kind of a linear thing where you kind of take one thing and kind of keep building on it, and it kind of gets bigger. The drum set, like a lot of the new really amazing work that's coming out, is non-linear in any construction sense. So once I have the bass drum, that's off handle. Now everything is everything is just kind of coming at it from all angles. And to be able to take a linear mentality and construct a drum set out of it, it literally was like, okay, forget everything what keeps going wrong. And then I spent about 6 months of just making clear drum sets in my spare time, aside from doing all the other stuff that I'm doing. But like 2 days a week, and then it worked its way up to like 3 days a week. I'm just making drum sets, and I'm having such a good time doing it because I can't figure out why.
You're having a good time. Shit's breaking on you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, it was crazy. It literally broke my brain in that ways. And then when I finally got one to come out of the kiln, I've actually got it here. Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
It's all covered in dust because it's been up there for a while. But this was the first drum set that made it out of the kiln and onto my table so that I could actually smoke out of it to see if the damn thing would even work. And yeah, I was actually really impressed with how simple and how well it worked as far as a functionality of a piece, because one of the most, or if not the most important thing to me in any pipe is how well does it work.
Yeah.
I don't care how cool it is. If it doesn't work well, then it seemed like it was all for naught,
So function has to, if we're making a pipe, function's number one, and then design can add on to it, but function has to always, if you're making a pipe.
Exactly, at least in my world. And I see that there's a lot of really decorative pieces that do work, but maybe not too well. And that doesn't detract from that at all. It was just in my mission with this project. And that's kind of how I approach it is how I approach all my pieces. It is a pipe. I want it to work properly.
Right. You're a professional artistic pipe maker. So
well, thank you for that.
If you make a pipe, right, whatever you're making, it has to be a pipe and it has to work. Like, you've been this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. So
cool.
Yeah, when I actually did get to hit the drum set, I was like, holy shit, this is cool. It's like just a 2-hole diffie in a 50 mil can. So it's very traditional. It bubbles in a really small space. The 2 toms above it, tiny little air inclusion, I guess. So it's a really compact smoke. And for oil, it fucking works perfect. Sorry. Right. But yeah, no. And that was it. Like, I finished the first one. I smoked out of it and was like, oh my God, this is cool. I want to do it again because this one really sucks.
So I like what you said, that you just didn't go after it. Like, cause did we lose you a little bit? No. Okay. So we're back.
Oh no, I'm here, I think. Okay.
Yep. I see it. So what I like is you have a long time into this game. You have a lot of skills, and you didn't just go out there and say, I'm going to go so hardcore, full color. You went out with clear. And I'd like to recommend that to a lot of people. Same thing I was told a long time ago. Well, if you're going to try something new, do it in clear. It allows you to see errors. It allows this. So I love that you mentioned that.
Totally. Yeah, every important project is that way for me. It's if it's an idea, it's going to start in clear. Unless it's something that you're sure of, and then go for it. I mean, at least go for it in your world, because in my world, I'm still going to do it in clear just to make sure.
I feel
Definitely.
that. So you said you started in 97, I think is when you started blowing glass.
Yep.
So I want to say, how did you get your glass name? Because your glass name is pretty simple, and back then, and even nowadays, it's like all these crazy things like Flybird Glass or something, and nobody knows it. But you've used your name.
Yeah. Back when I did start blowing glass, it was pretty normal for glass blowers to pick an alias or something like that, because inherently what we were doing is quite illegal, at least in certain eyes, you know. But that never deterred me. I was like, if I'm going to make a name for myself somehow, I don't want it to be this alter ego. I just want it to be me. Like, deal with it. This is me. This is what I do. So yeah, that was how it was. I was born AJ. My parents named me that, and yeah, that's it. Just Glass by AJ. Keep it simple.
I like it. That the KISS thing, you know.
Exactly. Keep it simple, stupid. My mama taught me that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So what items did you start out blowing glass when you first started? Way back when? Like this is 97. I mean, I was just 1 year out of high school. You were you're an OG in this thing. So
thank you.
What did you start out with?
Production. I had a head shop out in Chico, California, for a very short period of time. I wound up selling the head shop to pursue wholesale glass as a full-time thing. But for the first 97, 98, 99, spoons all day long. Spin feather spoons, 30, 40, 50 a day, 5 days a week, just crush it. Like, I think I stopped counting after 20,000 spoons, and I'd only been blowing glass maybe 2 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah. During that time, Inside Out was like the first thing that was really, or the first evolution style that was really coming about. I focused a lot of time doing that. So spin feather spoons turned into Inside Out spoons, turned into, well, now it's time to learn seals, hammers, sidecars, Sherlocks, bubblers, of all three of those. And then it was like around 2000 that I really started to see a lot of production companies really come up hard. Like Chameleon 101 was a huge game changer. And I really started to feel that I wasn't going to be able to stay in this industry for a lifetime if I didn't start to evolve my style. There's always work for production spoons and whatnot, but I really felt that if I was going to take this seriously and try to make a career out of it, like, you know, at least try to live for, you know, my life, because I'd given up music. I didn't really have any sort of a plan B or backup plan. So it was like, shit. And motivate, like, put all production aside. Maybe I lost you. Did you? No, you're there.
I'm back now. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I locked myself in a room for a year and literally just practiced, tried things, experimented. Glasspipes.org was just coming up and online, I think, about then. And that was it. That was my lifeline. I would see a picture and just study it for hours and hours. Swirly like that with a swirly over there. I've never seen something like that before. And yeah, just dissecting glass became like an obsession. And that was really when music got completely put aside and was like, there's a whole universe of kids doing stuff, or a handful of people at the time, doing this amazing stuff that I can't figure out how it's done. And yeah, it was the most enthralling thing I'd come across.
And so back then as well, you had to figure it out. You could maybe get a class or maybe get in with somebody, no YouTube. And that was it too. People were really starting to say, hey, I could either be a production or I could do this. And so I know we're a community, but it's also competition. So people don't want to share things and say, hey, this is my little technique and it keeps me special. So I'll show you this, but not this. And right, you got to just figure it out.
No, totally. Well, I do have to, that was in 2000 when I locked myself in a room. I do have to give a lot of credit, though, to Millie Mike and the Humboldt crew, because somewhere around 98, somewhere in there, I had saved a good bit of money from selling my head shop, and I had gone to Eugene to try to learn how to officially blow glass. And I don't think that I was an asshole. I don't think that I was like rude to anybody or anything. I was literally trying to pay people for lessons, and nobody would let me in the door. Exactly what you said, you know, that closed door
world.
Yeah, no, exactly. Completely different world. And I was like, oh, this really, really sucks. So a friend of mine,
I hate to be laughing because that is fucking real hardcore shit that people don't understand. The struggles back then of what totally. It's so easy now almost.
Yeah, no, totally. I couldn't pay my way into anyone in Snodgrass's shop. It was closed door. That's it. Sorry, hippie, get the hell out of here. Laughing and funny, yep, for sure. The other side of that, though, is when I made it to Humboldt, and I wound up sitting at a table with a bunch of glassblowers, dinner table, and I was the new face at the table. And it turned out that it was Millie Mike. He looked over and he goes, "So who the hell are you?" And I was like, "Well, I'm AJ. I'm friends with this guy Tree, and you know, I live up in Tahoe. I want to learn how to blow glass." And he's like, "Oh, well, you should go to Eugene." I was like, "Well, I tried that and it didn't really work. Like, no one wanted to take my money. Like, I was willing to pay good money for lessons and stuff." And he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Huh, well, you should come over to my shop tomorrow. Let's hang out." I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And it was Millie, Mike, Billy, Willow, Guy Willow, I mean to say, and a handful of other glass blowers. I think Amber, there was a lady there. I can't remember her name. Anyway, it was this shop full of glass blowers who weren't doing production work. And Millie Mike was the first one. And he's like, "Here, come here, check this out. This might not make sense for a few years, but do your best to remember it, kid." And was just showing me all this shit. And I would hang out for like all day, another day. And then I'd go home to Tahoe and like practice and try some things that I saw. This is when I actually saw inside out, donut holes, and some Latticino work, and just Millie work. Millie Mike came in one day with an entire spoon constructed tweezer style with Millies, which is kind of normal nowadays for Millie construction. But in 1998, you're like, crazy. Well, what the hell did you do that for? Why did you waste all those Millies on one spoon like that? Like, what is it? He's like, you don't get it. You just don't get it, but you will. And he's damn right, man. Like, the groundwork that was laid in my head over like the 2 or 3 months that I got to spend there, 2 or 3 days a week, really completely changed my attitude about glass, and was like, we all need to share this information. Ripple effect. The more people that know it, the more people will have access to the information, the more people will be able to appreciate it, you know? And that was the huge difference in the mentalities of Eugene for me and Humboldt. So Humboldt to me immediately, and that whole crew was like solidified that feeling that I had wanted and was hoping for, you know, coming from the music world. You play music with your bandmates, you know, everyone, you get 2 or 3 bands on a bill, you all are friends trying to support each other. Competition, you want to write better songs, but you're all trying to, you know, eat off plate. So, you know, that was really what like pushed me into, I want to be part of this. I want to do this. Now, I haven't really taught very much at all as a, you know, result of all that, but I've always tried to offer information to people, to help, to whatever. Yeah, that's always been super important to me. And thankfully, I met those guys and they changed my life, or my attitude about the whole scene. So Millie, Mike, thank you.
Oh yeah, that's super awesome. And it sounds like it kind of worked out really well anyways. Tahoe is a little closer, or you were in Tahoe and they're in
Humboldt.
Humboldt. So that was closer than going to Eugene, it sounds like.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So it just worked out for you, I think. And who knows?
It did. I've told my story about Eugene to a couple of different glassblowers in Eugene, and we're ashamed that was how the scene came off at the time. They're like, please come back, please hang out. We're cool, you know. So no diss on Eugene at all. That was just my personal information that I.
And who knows, at that one particular time, had you come a month earlier or a month later, you know, a total different reaction. They could have just been slammed, or who knows what could have happened.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I'm not blaming anything on Eugene by any means. I love that place, and had some really amazing times there since. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Did you have a mentor while you started out, or it sounds like maybe Millie Mike became one of your mentors?
He was a mentor in the sense that he shared information. Him, Willow, and Billy really did share information. I learned how to do donut holes. Like I was saying, I learned how to do Zanfurco style Latticino, and had never thought or even dreamed of, you know, putting stuff together that way. So I took away from that a lot of inspiration, but I was there such a short period. And then from there, I locked myself in that box for a year. And it was really in that box, just sitting there completely alone, just playing with glass, trying to figure out how the hell what I just saw happened and how to incorporate that into what I know how to do. And yeah, that was it. So mentors, I would say Millie Mike was definitely my first and biggest mentor. Still to this day is. I love him. But I went a good 5 years without working with anyone after that. And that's really where the style changed from inside out to tube encasement, pulls and reversal builds and stuff like that. That was where I kind of had to figure it all out on my own. And then when I moved up to upstate New York, I happened to meet Mike Froh at a fish show. And he kind of took me under his wing and gave me a spot in his shop for, I guess, a couple of years on and off. And he really tightened it up and was like, oh, you know how to do this? Oh, have you seen this? Okay, well, you know that. Well, why don't you do that? Like 9 ways or 11 ways and stuff. I'm like, well, I know how to do that, but that's kind of your thing or Shad's thing or like whatever. And he was the one that instilled in me, if you can do it, you should feel compelled to do it.
Right. So I like
that really.
I like that you mentioned that, because like, I think if you go there and you watch somebody, a blower, and you don't ask questions, you just steal their thing and their technique and completely copy it, it's copying. But if you're inspired by that person and you try and you figure it out on your own, I don't think it's copying. It's it should almost be appreciative, like, man, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Yeah, it was Mike Froh's encouragement to be like, oh, well, you know, you can do this. You should feel compelled to do it. And now because you did it today, can you do it tomorrow? Can you do it the next day? Can you do it the next day? Like, one of his big things that I'll always remember is, I don't care how much glass you blew today, how much you're going to blow tomorrow. Yeah. And to be able to be consistent to be able to be consistent. And if you're only going to work 8 hours today, that's great, but you better work 8 hours tomorrow just as hard, you know? Right. And that was it. It was like, take every minute seriously, like, and take every piece seriously. Like, I stopped being so whimsical, I think, or I really started to care a lot more about every single aspect of my pieces, seeing people care that much about their pieces, you know, seeing Mike's work and the quality of stuff that was coming out. And I was just super, super inspiring for sure. So yeah, second mentor would be Mike Froh.
Man, that's so neat. So you said classes, how many classes have you taken, and do you recommend them for people?
I definitely recommend them. The wealth of knowledge out there right now for glass is just insane. The accessibility to figure out or find out exactly how this person does that one technique, not just, oh, here's a technique, this is probably the way it's done. No, you can watch Corning videos of Salt doing his, crazy ass depression style perks, and it's like, wow. So accessibility now is amazing. Classes, I never really took classes. I did pay for a Robert Mickelson class twice.
Okay.
That was huge, but that I did maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. So that was in a much later state. So
you had some knowledge built in your head. So when you went to go learn from this guy, you could wrap your head
yes,
around it and then take a lot more back with you.
yes, exactly. It was a group class too, which was really nice. It was actually taken at Prism, and Coil and Elbow were in the class. So it was an amazing group of people put together for this Mickelson class.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely amazing. I learned some techniques there that I had never thought of, or whatever. His networking was always beautiful. And then, yeah, to sit down and actually get a hands-on lesson, and okay, well, we're going to construct it. This is how I approach it. It's like, oh shit, that's awesome. So yeah, just whether you're going to use that technique in your everyday, or it's just one of the techniques you want for your catalog, take classes for sure. By whoever inspires you, even just to get there and just sit and just watch them do what they do. It's awesome for sure.
Yeah. And I think you're going to pick something up, and yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, no, go for any glass school you can, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Where do you get your inspiration and creativity for in the work that you do?
I like to have no plan in what I'm doing, at least in some senses. I like to pick what I do every day. That's really where inspiration and all that kind of comes in. I pick up a piece of tubing on my table. It's like, okay, this is today's project. What am I going to do with it? Well, I know because of its diameter, the reversals will be a certain size. It's going to lend itself to construction of a certain size. And then it's like, oh, so this is a mini tube. Okay, cool. I know what I'm doing today. That's generally how I like to work, unless I'm getting ready for something specific. And then it's like, well, on my shelf, I need X number of Sherlocks, X mini tubes, X number of drum sets, and then I'm ready for whatever the event is. I like to have a little bit of everything, but I like to focus on certain things for certain runs. So yeah, kind of just every day is kind of like, oh, well, I've got this much time. I've got this much material laid out. Okay, this will be it today. I like to finish projects in one day. That's a fun way to work, like my mini tubes, 8, 10, 12 hours, 15 hours, whatever the day is. I like to begin and end the project in one day. The next morning when you come in, starts all anew. That's a fun way to work for me. It keeps it fresh every day.
And then you get a full Christmas the next day too.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, that's kind of one of the big things that I really do enjoy about glass is the tangible accessibility of holding in your hand your entire effort of the day before. Some people push papers or this or that, or you can record stuff and make music or whatever. That's cool, but that's all just auditory. This is something physical I can have in my hand and show you what my effort yesterday was. And that was something that I grew to be an addiction every day.
Yeah.
Kind of lends itself to why I like that one day project style. Because then, yeah, it's like, here's Tuesday, here's Wednesday, here's Thursday. I can prove that I did something those days, you know, which is cool for sure.
Yeah, I like it. You give yourself the addiction, and then you give yourself the drug, and then you You keep
Yeah,
that cycle
exactly.
going.
Exactly. The drum sets are the hard part because they take a full solid week to do. So I'll work on them like between like 60 and 80 hours, like 12 to 15-hour days for 6 or 7 days, depending on what it is. And that's where you really start walking into the kiln in the morning and itching, going, all right, there's a bunch of stuff in there, but it's not done yet. So we got to keep going. Let's keep going. And I've actually had to break it down into daily tasks. Day 1, I make all the reversals. Day 2, I make all the drum cylinders, and then there is still that little bit of that drug that we we're talking about that, right. Okay, we got through that. Awesome. Next task. All right, now we got to do all the cymbals. Okay, it's going to be a long day. Let's get through it. So yeah. I do. I break it down into smaller, more digestible parts.
That's really cool. You found that what you need for yourself to get through the day and feel good about it. And you've been able to make those, whether it's a big project, still digest it, eat it, and get through it.
Exactly. It's a blessing. It really is to be able to do what I do, how I do. I really do feel blessed and motivated to do it again, because I never felt like I had a career or a future in glass. I've always felt like I've been getting away with it. And it's like, cool.
That's how I feel
bills
too.
Are paid this. Okay, cool. Awesome. Because it's like, yeah, the bills are paid this month and we did it all on glass. See if we can do it again next month, So
I love it.
Cheers.
Do you have a preferred style or technique that you just absolutely love?
Reversal builds. I do love reversal builds. They make sense to me. At least most of the time. There's a couple new techniques that I've seen with some reversals that I'm 99% of the way there of figuring out exactly how they did it. But yeah, no. So that has always been super attention grabbing for me. The way you can take straight lines and start to manipulate them and create denser and more technical and tighter patterns, has really kind of tweaked my ears for sure. That being said, I'm a glass geek. I love all styles of glass. I may not do it, but I want to know everything. I want to know how all the millies are being pulled and how are you layering your colors to get hair texture like that in a little tiny milli, and all of that. Like, every aspect of glass is enthralling to me. It's the best word I have for it.
Dude, that's cool.
Hell yeah.
Have you had any periods in your career where you shifted, almost like the part of your life where you shifted from music to glass? Did you have any part in your glass career where you shifted from, say, I was just doing production to something else?
In 2005, basically, like right before I met Mike Fro and kind of started working with him or under him a good bit, I got really, really disillusioned with the whole glass world, the glass scene, like burnt out. Like, I was making heady little pieces, $200, $300, $400, $500 pieces kind of regularly. And it was great. It was a great market, but I woke up in the morning and hated turning on my torch. So I went and got a job delivering golf carts. Totally shut my shop doors, didn't mess with it, nothing. And yeah, for one summer into a fall, I think it was like about 5 or 6 months, I was a golf cart delivery man. My brother worked at this company and they needed help, and it was not glass blowing. So I was all about it. And it lasted 5 or 6 months. And then I realized exactly how much I loved glass and missed it. And, oh, wait, you're frozen. Hold on. I'll pause for a second.
No, I can hear you good.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I made it about 5 or 6 months of being a golf cart delivery man, and hated waking up at 6 a.m. to get to work by 7. Had to work every Saturday. Was like, this just sucks. The money was cool. I actually was having a consistent paycheck for the first time in 10, 12 years or something, 15 years at that point, was damn cool. Like, oh, we can go buy new shoes. We can go buy what we need when we want it. Okay, that's cool. But I hated going to work. The guy working for him, super cool. Working with my brother-in-law, super cool. I just really wanted to shoot myself come about 5 months into it. So I was like, I think I got to go back and blow glass.
You're a creator.
Well, I was missing. I'm a bitch. I don't like to be told what to do. Even if we're good friends or whatever, like it's cool, but just leave me alone. And it really started to piss me off that I would go into work every day and be handed a list of things I had to do by a certain point. I was like, this sucks. I like all you guys. You're all my friends. Why do I want to hate coming here? And then I realized how much I missed glass and the freedom to, let's take a week off and go to a music festival and sell glass. Let's, go to a concert. Let's stay up for 40 hours straight blowing glass because we're super high on the aspect of just getting this piece done,
Right.
So yeah, that was the moment I tried to do something else and realized I was incapable of it, or at least incapable of wanting to do it. So we're humans. We can put ourselves through whatever torture we have to. So, if the glass world is tomorrow and I have to go back to delivering golf carts, it'll be cool, but I'll still blow glass on the weekends. But yeah, no, I couldn't take anything else seriously, or I didn't want to. I figured as long as they were willing to allow me to take this seriously, then I had the desire to push my own ability to see how far I could go with it, to see where my limits were.
You're obviously super serious when you mention, a typical work day is, from what I'm hearing, can easily be a 15, 40-hour day. Some people don't understand what a 40-hour day is, people that's never worked on their own, but they exist. When you love what you're doing and you're doing it, yeah, it's work and it's tough, but 40 hours goes by. And so that's neat to hear you say something like that I don't know. It's just
yeah. No, for sure. It's cool that you think so. A lot of people would look at you and be like, oh my God, just give me my 9 to 5. Let me go home and check out. And those aren't, I was watching a show last night and they said, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you cannot have a 9 to 5 job. You're going to basically be working 24 hours a day.
It's your whole life.
Physically or mentally think about it. Yeah, exactly. And if you're willing to devote your life to something, if you're willing to devote your life to something, then it makes sense that you're willing to do it by putting sleep aside or skipping a meal, or we'll eat in 2 hours. Let's get this aspect of it done, because it's more interesting than life is, on a personal level. It's like,
I kind of sometimes feel bad for people that say those things. Hey, don't work too hard, or like, don't you ever vacation? It's like, man, I wish you could see what I'm doing is like, it's me. I'm doing it. You can't do you. So you need that vacation because you're being told you're not being you. So it's just really
exactly.
Neat.
You need a break from you to go be actual you. And then you can come back and deal with being this you. No,
just be you. And being you is not easy though, right? Like you decided that a long time ago. I'm not going to come up with an alter ego. I'm going to be AJ Glass by AJ, and so forth. So it's, I don't know. I just like that you're showing people, just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't be anything else. I don't feel right about being fake about anything. All you get is this. So,
Right. What are your favorite items to blow? Are they pipes, pendants, or do you just love blowing drum sets now?
Drum sets are definitely grabbing most of my attention when I want to do something of any consequence in my shop. It's probably going to be a drum set right now. But I love making dry Sherlocks. That to me is the hardest shape to get right. So any flaw in it, you can see any lump in your seam, anything wrong with it, you're going to tell in a dry Sherlock. So I like to make those. Those are kind of like my decompression times. For the last little bit, I've been liking to make a drum set in a week, and then the week after that, small stuff, while I figure out and kind of pre-plan in my head for the next drum set. So alternating back and forth like that has been cool. But I like to make beakers. I don't use a lathe. Everything I do is freehand. So little mini beakers are such a sterile shape. So to try to find the most sterile shape I can and try to give it personality is kind of one of the challenges I like. And beakers just hit so well. Like, I like to smoke flowers as much as I like to smoke oil. So I love them.
They sit well. They don't tip over. Like, I hate fucking bubble bottoms. I hate straight tubes because the thing is hard to put in there.
Yeah, no, exactly, for sure. So yeah, I like, if I'm going to make something, I like to make mini beakers, dry Sherlocks. There's a couple other like styles or pieces that I kind of designed or kind of work with I'll call it a silhouette. Like, I'll take the silhouette of a piece and then figure out what kind of patterning I want to do inside of it. Like I was saying earlier, based on how many reversals and how much whatever is in the material I'm going to use for the project. So I've kind of figured out a way to kind of predetermine things so that I don't have to think as much and kind of just go on autopilot, where it's like, I pick this up, I break it down, I know exactly, in my opinion, what I'm going to do will give it the best aesthetic for what it size, shape that it could be. And everything, kind of just works itself out. It's like, oh, well, this is going to be, a nice little mini beaker, or, 2 dry Sherlocks or something like, I don't know.
Well, I think it all works out when you got a skill set tool bag, like you're able to carry around with you. You can.
Well, cheers. Thank you. Thank you.
Go in there and do it. What's your favorite color to work with?
Ooh. I got to say pink. There's some shades of pink that are out. The pink Cadillac, though, has been kind of my favorite color for quite a few years, ever since Troutman kind of nailed it and, finished finalizing that color. Yeah, pink. Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your worst color to work with that you just don't need anymore?
Oh my God. There's so many in that category. I don't do a lot of fumey stuff. So a lot of the fumey colors, I don't really have a big need for. There was the old exotics from the North Star catalog, the red exotic, the blue exotic. Well, blue exotic, there's still a few techniques for it, but yeah, the exotics, I don't fuck with fumey too much, and they're just so saturated with metal. They just want to make your shit shatter that yeah. We'll just leave those on the shelf. Uh-huh.
Hell yeah. What is the most difficult piece you've ever attempted before?
Definitely the drum sets.
Hell yeah. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned like some of those sets can take on words of 60 hours to complete.
Yeah, 60 to 80 is pretty much normal for it. There's, every time I make one, I figure out the order of operations, and there's no cutting corners in the order of operations. You need to have X and Y done before Z. So it, yeah. It's a
pain in the ass, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So figuring out how to save 10 minutes in one day is actually a huge thing. Saving an hour over 3 hours because this was put on punty before this was. And so that's kind of really one of the major fuels in why I'm keeping the drum sets to 1 week, is because if I lose the entire set, then I lose an entire week's worth of work. But how much can I get done in that week has also been the same challenge, to where, oh, well, I did all that last week. Well, can I add an extra cymbal, an extra stand? How much can I actually get done in that 60, 80 hours? Has really been a fun challenge. And finding those little ways, like I was saying, to shave off 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there adds up. And then it means I can work that much more on the set in that week. That's been really fun. That's been the biggest challenge with it, is how far can I get in that week? And yeah, that's the fire that starts the next set for sure.
That's pretty cool. Like you got the skill set down, you got all that in there. The creativity is there, but your new challenge really is, how can I shave off a little time? How can I make my assembly process easier for the next time? It's just
exactly. I think that's where
puzzles.
the production. Oh, cheers. I think that's where the production workers, or the production worker in me, kind of is coming out, because they're like, did you see I shaved a minute off this spoon? That means we can do 12 more in a day. And it's like, some people are like, great, ooh, whatever. But to me, it's like, damn, that's cool as shit. How did you shave a minute off a spoon? Like, where did it come from? It's still fascinating that that was achieved, you know?
I too find that really neat. It's not like, because anything can, if you set your mind to it, you can accomplish it. And it's really finding how to get it, refine it, make it simpler, make it faster, not just for the money, but because we all only have so much time. So if we can find a way to make it faster, as well as equal to or better,
exactly,
you want to keep finding that, make it, and it's just better. And
exactly. No, you nailed it when you said, if it's going to be quicker, it has to still be better.
Right.
Because if you're compromising any sort of quality control in the end, then you just threw it all out the window. It was all for naught again, you know? So
if you find that way, I want to know it, because it's faster and it's equal to what the other process was. And I need more time.
No, exactly. Definitely. That's where taking classes, even production classes, like beginner classes, for beginner glassblowers. Oh, I took one beginner class, I don't need another one. No, you do. You should go take another beginner class, because you're going to see someone do the same thing, but in a different way. And through both of those ways, you're going to come up with a third way, hopefully, if you think about it enough, you know, that suits your style better. So yeah, no, that's super important.
That's absolutely right. What's the most, what do you consider, I think I asked that. I'm being pooped. Okay. Do you collaborate often?
No, I don't, for a couple of reasons. One, this is going to maybe sound a little weird, but the easiest way to gain recognition in this industry is by who you've collabed with. So that's the one thing that I'm almost am purposefully avoiding is, I'm just going to do my own thing and turn some heads, maybe if they notice. And to me, that's cool. To me, that's cooler than coattailing into a scene or something. It's like, no, So it's kind of how I've approached a lot of the aspects of my life is, if this is the right way to do it, that's how I'm not going to do it.
I like it. You're living by your rules, AJ's rules.
Cheers.
I love it.
Excuse me.
Have you ever competed in any events before or anything?
Yeah. I don't really like it. Because I don't really see it back to us as being in competition with each other. I think of all of us just as kind of supporting each other more so. But I have done a couple of different events. I like to call them events more than competitions, even though there was a competition in it. All the way back to 2012, I think was the first event that I was invited to do was the show that was in Madison.
Grassroots, I think it is.
Thank you so much. Grassroots, exactly. I did that event and took third place. It was pretty cool. There's a couple other smaller events, more like charity or operations or whatever that I've done, and that I really enjoy doing more than competition wise, even though some of the charity things were like judged or whatever. But out at Las Vegas this year, I actually entered one of the drum sets into the solo competition, and I actually won Solo People's Choice Award.
No doubt.
Which, yeah, really blew me away. Like, I didn't expect anything to come of that. Well, to be honest, I entered the piece into the competition to force people to look at it. I was like, I worked with Glass X for the show, and that was amazing. They're my distributor, and they deal with kind of all of sales and whatnot. So that's taken a huge headache off. But with the Glass Vegas competition, all those pieces were over in a separate section and whatnot. So I was like, well, yeah. I mean, I think the quality of work it wasn't janky by any means. It was a really clean, super quality drum set. And I entered it in the competition, like I said, basically to force people to look at it, to put it over there in that other pile of glass that was, being oogled at all day long. And then, it really blew me away that I actually won in the solo category. And to be honest, it just lit a fire under my ass to actually take it seriously next year and really try to make something special for the competition.
So they don't even know what's coming now.
Okay, well, don't tell anybody. But yeah, no. So in that aspect, I probably, because I won something, it fired me up to want to do it again.
But you're not competing. It sounds like you're not competing against anybody else, only yourself. You just wanted to people to recognize you. You put it out there. Well, they recognized you.
They did. That was the part that really blew me away and really humbled the shit out of me. I think what I do is cool. And the fact that other people think that what I do is cool too is really mind blowing to me. Like I never want to take any of it for granted. Like the fact that, people looked at all the glass on the shelf and were like, no, dude, that drum set's pretty groundbreaking, pretty weird, pretty unique, and recognized it was really, really, really cool and really humbling. Like,
congratulations. You deserve it, man.
Oh, cheers. Thank you. Like, yeah, so blew me away.
I didn't even realize you won that. I had been there and I seen the stuff, did all that. But I didn't realize, even sitting down with this interview, how great you are. Like, I knew you were great by seeing everything you did, but I didn't know you won that.
How they recognized my work. Yeah, that was really fresh. Cool of them, for sure. Hell yeah. Yeah, totally. I kind of got the award on my table, so I kind of look at it all day long. It's in a box, but I look at the box and just to kind of really remember that it actually happened. It wasn't.
It was real.
Yeah, totally. Like, I didn't think it was real, so that's why the box is just sitting right up there on my table. I'm just like, yeah, okay, it happened. It really did. Cool.
I love it, man.
Hell yeah.
So you did mention you do consume cannabis yourself. Do you prefer flower, concentrates, or do you just really like the plant itself?
I definitely am in love with the plant as a whole. You can't have good oil without amazing flowers. So I definitely think that the flower is a little bit more important than the oil. How do I like to smoke? I don't really, I go through cycles. Everything is in cycles. Currently, I've been smoking a lot of flowers. Currently meaning like for the last year, I've been smoking a lot of flowers. And instead of taking dabs, like back before nails were invented, when you had oil, we just put it on weed and smoked it.
You can
That's
do that?
What I've been doing.
You can put oil on weed?
Definitely. So yeah, that's actually what I've been doing a lot of lately for the last year. Haven't really taken a dab. I'll take dabs socially with friends if they come over, or if we have that type of thing. There hasn't been too much social activity this last year, but maybe that was actually kind of how I fell into it. I love my bong hits. I grew up having a bong, making bongs in like hardware stores and stuff like that. So I've always loved my little beakers and stuff. So yeah, flowers with oil though.
I like
That's
flower enhanced.
Yes, exactly. We call it boost the octane.
Yeah. What hobbies do you have not of glass?
Totally. I grew up skateboarding. So that has always been a huge part of my life. Now that I'm an old fart, I don't do that anymore. I'll still kick around for transportation, but I don't take skating seriously at all or anything. Skateboarding, so for sure. Music, playing music like guitar, bass, drums, that kind of stuff. But all of that is kind of still in my shop. So what do I do when I actually get out of my shop? Go on a hike, walk with my girlfriend, my dog. That's about the extent of it. Like, I'm an old fart now, so I used to be like mountain biking and like snowboarding and like all this stuff. And I definitely still have the desire to get outside, but I don't have the energy to do a lot of that stuff anymore. So it pretty much just culminates into a nice walk with my dog.
Right on. When you do consume, do you use your own pieces or do you use somebody else's pieces?
I don't keep any of my own glass. I think it's kind of egotistical to like keep and smoke out of your own stuff. On one level, like, I like my friends to have my work. That's cool. So I don't mind seeing it out or whatever, but personally, I'm personally smoking out of a John Madden piece. This has been my new piece for...
I swear, man, like, we had one of those in our store that looked just like that. The line look is so clean.
Yeah, totally. Where's my camera? Yeah, it's like dichro backed Reticello. Yeah, it's badass, dude. John Madden's awesome. He worked in the shop with Fro and I.
That's just
on
crazy.
And off. And yeah, he super nice guy. Awesome. So yeah, that's today's smoker. If I do take dabs, I'm proud of this. I just got this last year. Chubby Glass by Nate. I smoke out of this.
Man, that's
just
fire.
One of the little gill recircs. But again, clear, because I don't spend a whole bunch of money on glass, but I like to get stuff from as many different people as I, if we become friends, I want your glass. I'm usually like, seldom will I ever just be like, oh, I just want to get a piece of glass from that person. It's like, no, like, that's my homie. Now I definitely need a piece of glass from him, whether it is a little pendant, hard cap, or something, like the poor man's collection.
Right. So yeah, you're not just in this. You literally love it. You're supporting it. That's so awesome. Like, a lot of blowers, including myself, I use my stuff when it's cracked. Because I'm a cheap.
Oh yeah,
too.
Exactly.
But you're not even gonna do it. You want to support the industry. That's fucking badass, man. I love it.
Oh hell yeah, definitely. I will make something clear, like we were talking about before, to do R&D to test it. But if it works, I'm gonna sell it to a friend for super cheap. Like, here's a clear weird thing. Go for it. You need something.
Right. Hell yeah. What can we look forward to in the future from you?
Oh, there's definitely a few things that I've got planned for this year. The easy answer is it'll definitely be drum set based, but the future of it is I really want to expand on the idea. Without giving away really anything, the idea of the drum set to me was really cool, but that's just the first piece in where I want this series to go.
Well, I'm imagining you didn't just say, I play the guitar, I play the bass, but you play the drums. So you're multi-instrumented. So I'm wondering, are you going to make an entire fucking set? The whole band set.
Well, okay, so
Metallica or Iron Maiden,
No, exactly. You kind of nailed it on the head. So I have a problem with my skill set. I don't make characters. Like I don't make
Yeah.
people like people.
I don't either.
So I need, I love it. Oh, fucking Ethan Windy. Like, oh my God. Amazing, amazing proportions. Everything is just perfect. Coil, just fucking perfect. I can't do that at all. So I'm working currently on putting together, to be honest, there's like 9 projects that I have, and we'll see which one kind of bumps its way to the front of the pack because of the groundwork that's being, achieved with it. So I'm not really sure how and which project is going to work, but you nailed it when you said stage recreations. That's my super secret dream, is I want to do famous stage recreations from tours through time, like Kiss in 76 or AC/DC, like that kind of stuff, and actually recreate what the stage actually was like. Size, like, oh, he had 7 Marshall stacks, so we need 7 Marshall stacks. 5 won't do it. Like, we need 7. Like, whatever we need is what we need. The ultimate test of that ability would be to do The Wall of Sound by the Dead. That would just be how many speakers were up there? 90 something speakers, maybe 96 speakers were up there. Maybe more. We'll see. But yeah, I'd actually like to do that.
Well, I can't wait for these projects to come out. That is nuts, man.
Well, the logistics of doing them isn't that hard. It's taking the time. I need to be able to pay my bills.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. Like right now I can work for a month or 2 or 3, but then I need a paycheck because I'll have tapped all of my funds. Mm-hmm. So being able to work for a year and not worry about a paycheck is the ultimate goal, because then I can take a year to do everything that's in these projects that I want to do, and then do it something at the end.
What needs to happen is these rich ass bands need to pick one of these things up. Like, that's what I believe, because those things are fire. And what drummer wouldn't want to have your drum set? Like,
cheers.
That's cool.
Thank you. No, for sure. The reception has been snowballing faster probably than I could keep up right now. Thankfully, Las Vegas, we sold out of everything, all the sets, everything. There was plenty of orders for the future, but I don't take orders, which is kind of a weird thing for a glass blower to say.
No, you said it. You do your thing. You're you.
Yeah, exactly. And I promise that if you just give me a little bit of time, I'll make a bunch of stuff that y'all will think is like pretty cool, hopefully. But yeah, like, so I'm, like I said earlier, I'm kind of one of those bitches where I'll make glass all day long until you tell me to make glass. And then I'm going to go on a walk with my dog all day. As long as it's my decision to do these things, I've got the gumption to do it. And that is to say, yes, I can take orders from people or whatever, but how do I love to do this? I just want to do it. Just leave me alone. Let me do my stuff. And, I'll see you in a few months.
Yeah, I love it. Do you find that you still have the same passion today as when you first started back in 97?
There's been an ebb and flow of it over the years. Some years or some days you're super stoked. Some days it's, a bit of a drag. It's kind of leveled itself out now, where it's kind of like a faucet where maybe if I need it, I can go take a drink out of the faucet and do it. But otherwise I can just be kind of chill. Like it's not difficult to come into the shop every day. Like, I understand how special it is for me to be able to do this and how privileged I am to be able to do this. So that makes it real easy to find the motivation in the morning. Like, maybe I'll sleep in an extra half hour, but then it's time to get up and get into the shop.
Nice. Do you have any shout outs or anything you want to add to this?
Shout out to GlassX. They are awesome. Noah and Ethan up there, they are knocking it out of the park.
Hell yeah.
I had a nice conversation with them to get started on what we both wanted out of our relationship, and it's extremely symbiotic. They're in for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere. I love the motivation and the mentality that they have, and yeah, I look forward to working with them, hopefully for a really long time, because I definitely think it would be good for both of us. So shout out to GlassX for distribution, for sales, for dealing with the real world so that I don't have to. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. That's really sweet.
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Well,
cheers.
And the big thing, where can we follow you at? What's the best place to see all your work? Is it IG? Do you have a website? What's the best way to
Gotcha. Glass by AJ on Instagram. That's the best way to keep up with it. I'm a big introvert though, so I don't post a lot and whatnot. I'm working on dealing with that. I understand that I have to. So, but yeah, Instagram's the best way to reach me. Through there, my email, if anyone needs to get a hold of me that way, is on there. But DM through Instagram. I check it daily, sometimes every 2 days. But yeah, just give it a minute, and for sure, I'll get back.
Fresh. Well, AJ, it was a super pleasure to have you on here. Thank you so much.
No, vice versa. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. And yeah, man, cheers. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, all right. That was super cool, super fire. That guy's skill set is out of control. And I love how he's just him. It's so dope. Real quickly, we need your help. We need some Elev8 brand ambassadors. You can get some really cool clothes like this, some Elev8 mind, body, spirit stuff. You also get to earn other credits as well as put smiles on faces. If you like what we're doing, subscribe, tell your friends, help us out and build Elev8 mind, body, spirit. Peace out.